The entertainment industry came to a complete halt when word leaked out that Brooke Bailey had revealed she was expecting. Jim Jones' childy Lampkins took the brunt of the blow. Jim and Chrissy had been together for years. The core of hip-hop and love, a tale of perseverance, love, and loyalty under public scrutiny. However, this realization was the epitome of betrayal before a friend contacted to corroborate what had already gone viral. Chrissy reportedly heard murmurs online, according to sources. The internet was already piecing together the news when beautiful and self-assured Brooke Bailey announced it on her live feed. Chrissy's response was unfiltered. Those who were close to her described, "She paces in shock, looking for Lauren." She couldn't comprehend how the man who had supported her through every scandal could allow something like this to occur. As she watched videos of Brooke grinning and placing her palm on her stomach while discussing fresh starts, it was made worse by Jim's silence. He had promised Chrissy loyalty, respect, and dedication for years. All of that looked to be broken now, though. Social media disappeared into anarchy. Fans flooded Chrissy's Facebook with sorrow and rage, demanding answers and tagging her in every post. Brooke was accused by some of pursuing power, while others demanded that she permanently leave Jim. Jim, however, remained silent. No explanations, no denials, no posts. Once renowned for her poise, Chrissy was no longer able to control herself. Later, cameras caught her crying and murmuring, "After everything, after all these years, this is how he pays me back for what we created." It wasn't just a breakup, it was the fall of an empire based on heartbreak, love, and loyalty. As soon as the article appeared on blogs, it seemed like a social media earthquake. Chrissy Lampkin's phone was constantly vibrating with calls, texts, and notifications all coming in at once. She initially disregarded them, thinking it was only a rumor. She and Jim Jones have withstood innumerable headlines and falsehoods intended to destroy them. However, things were different this time. The source was too well known, the details were too exact, and the headlines were too particular. Model and reality TV celebrity Brooke Bailey went live on Instagram looking radiant, selfish, and definitely pregnant. When a fan inquired about the father's identity, Brooke grinned, paused, and replied, "Let's just say it's Sumianu. All already know very well." That was all it took. The internet completed its investigation in a matter of hours, and Jim Jones was identified as the culprit. When Chrissy learned that Brooke's live video was popular, her heart fell. There was a lot of conjecture in the comments. Is she referring to Jim? I wonder. He and Chrissy just did an interview in tandem. No way. This is genuine. When a well-known gossip page shared a screenshot of a purported message from Brooke's close friend confirming the scene swiftly descended into turmoil. Yes, it's true. Brooke is expecting Jim's baby. The message quickly gained popularity. Chrissy remained motionless in her living room, gazing at her phone. For she had supported Jim through all of his professional highs and lows for years. The gossip, the incessant queries about why they hadn't been married. Love was enough. She persuaded herself each time. This was not like the others. She was unable to heal this wound with loyalty. He wouldn't. She said to herself. Jim was nowhere to be seen. But a sad voice in the back of my mind suggested, maybe he did. His phone immediately went to voicemail. Chrissy had assumed he was in the studio since he hadn't been home since the night before. She wasn't sure what to believe anymore. When she eventually called his manager, she only received a reluctant answer. "I believe you ought to speak with Jim personally." That quiet said a lot. Social media was booming in the meantime. Fans started uncovering old pictures of Jim and Brooke together from previous district events, informal parties, and appearances on the red carpet. Nothing had ever seemed out of place. However, each and every fresh perspective was being used to reimagine the photograph. There was always chemistry between them. I sensed something was off when Brooke started mentioning Jim in interviews. One admirer remarked. By midday, one headline read, "Brooke Bailey confirms pregnancy. Jim Jones named his father." Another exclaimed, "Chrissy Lampkins, heartbroken after years of loyalty." The story was featured prominently on every gossip blog. Videos of Brooke gently grinning at the camera were replayed. "Sometimes life surprises you in ways you never expected," was her caption. The comments were harsh, half praising her. She was partially accused of demolishing the home of another woman. When Chrissy finally spoke up, Brooke didn't answer any of them. It wasn't via a statement or an interview. It was just an Instagram narrative. White writing on a black backdrop. One-sided loyalty has a different effect. The entertainment industry was rocked by that post alone. Fans showered her with encouraging sentiments in her comments. "Girl, you deserve better. Give him up permanently. He's been teasing you for far too long." There was an instant outpouring of sorrow. But behind that message, Chrissy was shattering. Friends close to her say she spent hours crying, oscillating between fury and astonishment. She just kept saying, "I gave him everything." One insider claims she sacrificed so much for that dude. Indeed, Chrissy had constructed her life around Jim's profession, supporting him even when he wasn't showing up for her personally. She had been patient, waiting for the ring, waiting for stability, waiting for the dedication she anticipated, but suddenly, it felt like everything she had invested had been for nothing. Later that night, Jim was photographed by paparazzi as he left a New York restaurant. When reporters asked about Brooke's pregnancy, he said nothing, just lowered his head and entered his vehicle. More was said by that silence than by any denial. In a matter of minutes, the video appeared online with the title, "Jim Jones Refuses to Address Pregnancy Rumors." The public's perception of him drastically changed. One fan said, "He denies it if it wasn't true." Another said, "His silence is his confession." By midnight, Chrissy was by herself in their shared flat. The city was alive with activity outside, but within every memory, every promise, every time Jim said he had changed, and the innumerable interviews in which she had defended him were all replayed in her head as everything fell silent. She unlocked her phone once again and browsed over Brooke's most recent post, feeling hollow after saying she was pleased with their journey despite not being married. "New beginnings and blessings I didn't see coming," the caption said of the glowing white-clad woman with her hand covering her belly for protection. That was the last blow. With tears streaming down her face, Chrissy dropped her phone cheeks while she muttered, "This is how he pays me back for everything I've done." By dawn, Chrissy had become the face of sadness on the internet. Videos with commentary, memes, reaction videos, all of which highlighted her suffering. Everyone was anticipating her next move. Would she openly confront Jim? Would she leave permanently? Or would she forgive him one last time like she had done countless times before? No one knew. This time, though, one thing was evident. Chrissy Lampkin had undergone a permanent transformation. The woman who had always supported Jim Jones was no longer there. She was replaced with a broken person who was about to grow into something more powerful. The pandemonium surrounding Brooke Bailey's unexpected revelation. Later that afternoon, Chrissy eventually decided to venture outside. Cameras showed her wearing large sunglasses, head down and looking distraught as she entered her car. The images appeared on every gossip website within hours with headlines such as, "Chrissy Lampkin's seen in tears after Jim Jones baby scandal." The public's empathy was enormous. Fans inundated her social media with thousands of messages. "Stay strong. You're too good for this. You are not worthy of him." Beneath the surface though, Chrissy struggled with anger and she gave Jim one final call that night. This time he replied. The call was brief, uncomfortable, and emotionally charged. "Just tell me it's not true," she murmured in a shaky voice. A long silence ensued. Jim sighed heavily, the sound of regret in his tone. "Chrissy," he murmured. "I am." She only needed to hear, "Don't want to do this over the phone." Before he could say another word, she hung up. Anger replaced her sadness. She later told Emily, after everything, all of it had collapsed into public disgrace. Brooke, meanwhile, was experiencing her own storm. She enjoyed the attention, but she also had to deal with harsh criticism. There were many allegations and insults in her comment area. "How could you do this to another woman?" inundated her page with homewrecker clout. Brooke, however, remained unflinching. "You can't steal what was never claimed," she said in a follow-up post. The cryptic statement was interpreted as a direct shot at Chrissy, and the internet went crazy once more. Chrissy's rage that evening boiling over. She rarely went live on Instagram, but this time she did. Her voice was tremulous but resolute. She started, "Let me just say this once. I've shown loyalty. I've shown patience. Additionally, I've been quiet about a number of things that I could have stated. Allow anyone to play in my face as I sit here." Her remarks were authentic, raw, passionate, and profound. Fans showered the livestream with love and encouraging remarks. The video became viral in a matter of minutes. Jim finally spoke up the following day, giving TMZ a brief comment. He said, "It's complicated. Silently, but I'll deal with it in private." That ambiguous response just exacerbated the situation. In private, fans became enraged. "She was publicly humiliated by you. The harm had already been done." Chrissy tried to keep her mind busy by spending the next few days with close friends and relatives. However, she noticed reminders of their shared music, memories, and pictures from the gym everywhere she went. The emotional burden was overwhelming. "She's not only depressed." Off the record, Emily confided in a reporter. "She is in mourning. It's similar to lamenting a romance that ended long before she acknowledged it." As the week progressed, Further rumors emerged indicating that Brooke and Jim had been covertly dating for months. Prior to her pregnancy announcement, it is said that they had recently met at a private gathering in Los Angeles through common connections. It made no difference if that was true or not. What was important was that Chrissy felt completely deceived. During a brief interview outside her house, Chrissy provided a straightforward response. When asked if she intended to stay with Jim, "I am done defending those who don't defend me." Her remarks reverberated on social media, igniting discussions on self-worth, love, and loyalty. She was praised by admirers as a representation of strength. However, behind closed doors, she continued to suffer while attempting to find a way to recover in front of everyone. Everyone was wondering what Chrissy would do next as Brooke's stomach increased and Jim said nothing. Would she leave it last permanently, or would she be caught in the cycle one last time because of the history she shared with Jim? There was no doubt that Chrissy Lampkin was done being silent, and the world was paying attention this time. By the third week, the controversy surrounding Brooke Bailey, Jim Jones, and Chrissy Lampkin had grown into a public reckoning rather than just a scandal. Everybody had a viewpoint. Each store had an angle. Behind all the commotion, though, Chrissy was gradually regaining her ability to breathe. An uncomfortable calm has replaced the initial jolt. Though they weren't as frequent, the tears continued. Rather, she was thinking about love, devotion, and the years she had spent with a guy who never seemed to fully pick her. Her close friends are aware of the shift. "She is not as damaged as before," Emily muttered. "She's clear, but she's also furious. She seems to have now realized what she had been ignoring." She was correct, too. Chrissy had loved Jim for 20 years, thinking that he would meet her halfway one day. She had been his career's pillar, the companion who'd forgiven him in private and stood up for him in public. This betrayal, however, was unique. It wasn't only concerning a different woman. It was about acknowledging that the future she had envisioned would never come to pass. Jim, on the other hand, was having difficulties due to criticism from the public. Supporters who previously admired him before criticizing his silence and labeling him a coward for failing to stand up for either woman. Every day he was surrounded by photographers who asked him to comment. Demands for the truth swamped his social media platforms, but he remained silent. He appeared exhausted, almost haunted when he was eventually seen outside a recording studio. As he got inside his car, reporters yelled questions. "Jim, is Brooke truly carrying your infant? How about Chrissy?" His expression was unreadable as he disregarded them. However, the story his words failed to convey was revealed by the remorse in his eyes. Then the shocking revelation arrived. In a magazine article, Brooke Bailey revealed that she was pregnant by posing for glossy pictures in a cream dress with her belly showing. Although she didn't specifically mention Jim during the interview, she was very clear about her objectives. "I'm starting anew. This baby is a blessing, not a scandal. It's a new chapter in my life," she remarked. Brooks had a little smile when the journalist gently probed her about the rumors. "People can fall in love with complex individuals at times. I'm not here to destroy anything. I'm just embracing what's real." The statement quickly gained popularity and rekindled the controversy. One late night, Chrissy was scrolling when she came on the cover. She didn't cry this time, but her chest constricted. "Good luck with what you think is real," she uttered in a whisper. She had lived in the shadow of other people's choices for far too long. She was picking herself this time. Chrissy did something unexpected the following morning. She purchased a ticket to Miami. Emily was the only person she told. She was captured on tape at the airport wearing gingham pants and a hoodie, her expression concealed by sunglasses. "I need space," she said to the lone reporter who succeeded in getting close to her. "Peace is what I need." Her fans went into a frenzy after hearing just one sentence. "This time she's really done." One blog entry was made. "In Miami, Chrissy is leaving." Chrissy found comfort in being by herself. Get away from the commotion. She found herself again. For the first time in years, she began keeping a journal, going on long walks by the sea, and concentrating on her own happiness. After several months, Chrissy went back to a different woman in New York. Although the pain was still there, it had